And it's not like when I was younger, I could have done so much. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to go for it. But that's my advice, brothers. This book. So please sign up for your local masjid and start doing the Quran classes. Wallahi, in my eyes, now at this stage in my life, the people I look up to them like that, is Ahlul Quran. They are Ahlullahi wa khasatuh. Anyone who tells me I'm a hafidh bi kitabillah, azuma indi, he's big in my eyes. I hold him in high regards. You're telling me, akhi, in between your two shoulders, you have the Quran, its entirety in your heart. I love you for the sake of Allah. I encourage you all to be like that, brothers. Especially this umrah you're in right now, Quran. And you will know, فَسَتَذْكُرُونَ مَا أَقُولُ لَكُمْ وَأُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِيَ إِلَى اللَّهِ. صح? And it's وَأُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. Like وَأُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِيَ is another different way of reading it. I surrender my affairs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I know you're going to look back and say, I wish. Are we all together? That my children, that's the thing. From 4:30 in the morning, I wake them up. Till 6:30, they do two things. Quran and Hadith. They finish the Quran 6:30 p.m. From 4:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Wallahi alladhi la ilaha ghayru, I'm not exaggerating. And it's the book of Allah, Quran. Every 7 days we finish the Quran. Every 7 days. We start from Surah Al-Fatiha up to Surah Al-Ma'idah. Fami. Mim. Ma'idah. Fami. From Surah Al-Ma'idah to Surah Yunus. From Yunus to Surah Isra. From Surah Isra to Surah Shu'ara. From Surah Shu'ara to Wasafat. From Wasafat to Surah Qaf. And then from Qaf to Surah Al-Fatiha. Surah Al-Nas. 7 days, and that's the way that the Sahabas used to do it. We finished the Quran. 3 are Hufadh, who've memorized the Quran. One is 9, one is 10, one is 11. They all finished at the age of 8 and 9. I saw the benefits that the Quran had on their life. When they finished the Quran, every single thing brothers, one day I told them I said I'm going somewhere. They said, Dad, can we come with you? I said, no. They said, please, Dad. I said, okay, but you guys have to do something. And there's a policy. They can only come with me if they memorize something. You have to work for this. I can't just take you. So I gave them the hardest challenge I could possibly think of, wanting not to take them. Honestly, I didn't want to take them. So I gave them the hardest challenge. I gave them a line of poetry called Sawtu Safir al-Bulbuli. Have you guys ever heard of it? Sawtu Safir al-Bulbuli is a line of poetry where Abdul Malik ibn Qurayb al-Asma'i, the ruler of that time, Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, basically was stealing people's poetries. And he was telling the people, anybody who brings a poetry that has never been heard of this poetry, they're going to get gold, money. So the poets were coming and they will read their poetry. But Abdul Malik, Abu Ja'far al-Mansur had a trick. He had a slave and a boy. The boy would memorize it from hearing it the first time. The girl would memorize it from hearing it twice. And Abu Ja'far al-Mansur needed to hear it twice in order to be able to memorize it. So whenever the poet comes and he reads his line of poetry, Abu Ja'far al-Mansur says, this one was said before. I'll give you, even my boy here knows it. Read it to him. Even the girl knows it. She reads it. So he's heard it twice. Even I know it. And then he reads it. All of the poets are like, I was writing this. How does he know it? And they were losing. and embarrassed. The poetry was taken from them and it was used. So Abdul Malik ibn Qurayb, he understood something's not making sense. So he wrote the hardest, the most complicated poetry there ever is. Some scholars, they say it's not the hardest, but for me it's very complicated. صوت صفير البلبل هيج قلبي التمري الماء والزهر معا. And it's very, very long. It's very complicated. So I told my kids, yeah? It's a tongue twister. So I told my kids, whoever memorizes it, I will take them. بين الظهر والعصر, they memorized it. And they read it on me. They went in the room, they sat down, and I believe it comes from memorizing the Quran. Anyone who memorizes the Quran, the brain opens. The benefits I benefited from, Ibn al-Jawzi in his kitab Sayyid al-Khatir, he said that the brain is like the stomach. The more you eat, the more your stomach wants to eat. Sah? If you eat a lot, your stomach becomes bigger, 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 and your appetite just becomes more. All you're doing is eating, you're eating. The brain is the same. If you stretch your brain and you fill it with memorization, everything, it can take so much, wallahi. And that person starts memorizing quickly. And I'll tell you why. Words start to look like each other. It becomes a pattern. And it becomes easy for you to figure things out and connect dots. My kids, everything. They memorize to the extent I have to now stop them and say, Abba, stop memorizing it. Understand what I'm saying. No, but first let me memorize. But مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا. You're going to be like a person who's carrying this information, but you don't understand it. Let me explain it to you first. Then you straight away jump to memorization. The benefit of stretching your brain is that it memorizes. The brain, if you stop it from thinking and you stop it from memorizing, it becomes so incompetent and so weak that when people have conversations with you, you sound very childish and immature. Do you know why? Because you haven't stretched your brain. So when people say to you, "Akhi, this is a bit complicated, I don't want to listen to this lecture. It's a bit too hard." Challenge the brain. Say, "Okay, I have to understand what he's talking about. It sounds sophisticated, but I'm going to go through it. Let me hear it again." And again, the minute you do that to your brain, in life, you have a high level of thinking. And you'll be a very smart person. We're all together, brothers. Barakallahu feekum, brothers. Inshallah ta'ala, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa